Hello, good morning, and welcome to New Forest Morphs. Jared, welcome to the facility. We've had a nice weekend. Jared's our cameraman today. We just wanted to cover a few things this week. There's been lots going on in the facility. We've had the ultrasound out. We spent a good hour, Jared, haven't we, checking our girls, and we've got some really good results we want to share with you on that. We also want to talk about what the ultrascan is showing us, but which we can't see with the natural eye, which we're learning from. And we've also got one girl that's got 20 eggs building in her, which we're going to show you the cluster of those eggs as well. And that's Toast, isn't it, Jared? One of your faithful girls that gives us eggs every year. But she surprised us. We counted 20 eggs, didn't we, Jared? So we're going to discuss a little bit about that and what's going on there. But before we get going, I just want to say, Jared and I, well, in fact, Jared, you came back with the news last Monday, I think it was, that the Brian Barczyk's family have announced his passing, and obviously the whole of the community's in mourning at the moment. And what I thought was really beautiful is several of the YouTube creators have come out and given their tributes, and I wanted to give them a shout out because I was deeply touched by their tributes. And one of them is actually Gavin from Balls to You, who did a live tribute, which I watched after the event. Unfortunately, I couldn't watch it live, but it's well worth having a look at. Gav basically had a really nice guest with him, which is I think it was Jeremy Turgeon, who's I think he still works with Nerd, but he's a really funny guy. But he gave us an insight to how he came to know Brian, and I thought that was interesting. And he went there as a young student and developed a relationship with Nerd, but also developed a relationship with Brian as well, and did lots of things with Brian. So we got a very beautiful insight to things that were going on, Jared. But also I think Gav did some research, and he was bringing to the live show lots of projects to be grateful for as breeders, which Brian has developed. And I didn't know some of them, to be honest with you, because we've only been in the game 6 years, so it was very educational. And there was one particular, I think there was one particular snake that they talked about called the Viper. Have you ever heard of the Viper, Joe?
As in the poisonous snake, or was it a type of ball python?
There was a ball python project called the Viper, and one snake was found that Brian bought as part of his Dinker projects. And it turned out, he spent a lot of money on it. It turned out not to be genetic. It was just literally a one-off pattern snake that looked really pretty. It looked like a viper, and they called it Viper, and he was trying to prove it out. And I think it was parallel to doing the Sunset project, and Brian also proved out the Sunset project, but he tried for several years to work out what was going on, and eventually the Sunset project came out. And so we're grateful for Brian for that. But Brian's done, not only in the ball pythons, he's also produced new genetics in some of the other snakes that are out there too, so he's quite broad on that. But I thought it was really educational. Go and give Gavin some love. Balls to You if you want to get a really interesting historical insight into Brian Barczyk's development in the hobby, is how he developed many of these morphs that we're now working with today. And I thought that was a really good way of showing love and tribute to him, so thank you for that, Gavin. The other person that touched me was Brian at Triple B, which I think is Brian Cusco, and he was very, very close friends with Brian Barczyk, and he gave a beautiful celebration of life tribute and some private footage that probably no one's seen before. And I think what's lovely about the tributes is we're getting to see private footage of Brian's one-to-one interaction. And there's a very common thread going through all of these creators where they have so much high respect for Brian, because the way he makes them feel so welcome, gives them this personal telephone number, says call me anytime, invites them over to the house, cooks for them, feeds them. In one particular journey, I think one particular person actually got an invitation to come into the home as well, instead of going to an Airbnb. So you can see the generosity of the family, the way that they host and they love and they serve the community. And Brian just would drop everything for you to give you that love and attention. And I think when you look at the tributes, it just confirms in your own heart just how much Brian gave to the community and how much he will be missed. There's a couple of other YouTube creators that have also done beautiful tributes. Dave Kaufman from the Reptile Adventures, who's got a massive following, gave acknowledgement to Brian Barczyk, that took him under his arm and encouraged him to do his filming in Africa, and as he was travelling around the world. So I want to give him a shout out. But what I liked about his blog is it was a very honest blog, because he fell out with Brian Barczyk, and he was being very honest that they had a disagreement and there was a rift for a while, but he managed to bridge that rift, and they made up again, and then there was a misunderstanding, and they connected before Brian actually got ill, which is, he was saying, so important to connect with people, and I liked that because it made me appreciate that people can actually and they can move on even after being hurting one another. There is a way of bridging that gap, but it takes humility and it takes patience and understanding and forgiveness. And Dave was talking about that, and I really liked that. And I think Brian Cusco talked about building bridges in his first tribute to Brian as well, and how important it is to be reconciled to a fellow breeder or fellow family members as much as you can be reconciled. It takes two to reconcile, of course, but just encouraging us to reconcile in broken relationships where possible. It's not always possible, but trying to bridge those gaps. So I like that one as well. And the other one that I found interesting, because MJ at Talk Trap gave a live tribute to Brian, and he got 5 guests on, and they're all different personalities that know Brian really well, and it was just, that was really lovely. And I thought, one of them was actually Marcus Jane, that's the MJ line for the Exantic projects. Jared, he's a very famous breeder, that's a lovely guy, and he gave some secret insights to his relationship with Brian. And I think anyone that's going through the process of mourning Brian's loss, when you see these beautiful tributes, it's a lovely thing to do. And there was one other small breeder that I've been following that gave a tribute as well, and he lost his own family to cancer, Jared, and he knows the pain and the suffering that he had to go through himself. And he gave a beautiful tribute. So you don't have to be a major creator to give a tribute. And I'd say anyone out there that's got a small YouTube channel and feel prompted is actually to give the family some love and feel free to express yourself and show that love. So that's what we'd like to show today, is a bit more love towards Brian's family and the way things are going. Noah and Laurie have also stepped up again, and believe it or not, I mean, he's only passed a week and they're brave enough, Jared, to actually go live on the vlog, which most people would not be in that state of mind to do that. And it's just amazing to me how they are carrying on Brian's legacy, keeping the blog going and keeping us in touch, even when they're going through the most severest of bereavements themselves. They must be suffering so much deep inside, but they're being brave enough to even get in front of the camera is amazing. So that's very inspirational. So the only other person I want to give a shout out to, which I've been watching a couple of his videos, is Ben at BG Pythons. Now Ben and I have known each other for a couple of years now on our channels, and Ben's got his first Dreamsicle clutch, and I had a look at the video this week, and he's produced 8 stunning Dreamsicles. One of them is called Smiley because he's got a really nice smiley face on it. It's the perfect Dreamsicle, and I'm thinking, well done Ben, I mean, such a nice bloke, and go give him some love, guys. That's Ben at BG Pythons. He's building a facility, Jared, and it's in progress, and he's got a lot of things besides ball pythons. He's got GTP, he's got all the green tree pythons, he's got a whole selection of different pythons, and it's really interesting what he's doing and how he's building his collection, and everything seems to be very high quality. Lovely guy. Go give him some support and following. Right, let's go on to what's been happening here. So we've had our 3rd ovulation, Jared, and it was Suzuki. Now, do you want to have a quick look at her, Jared, and see whether she's still in ovulation? She's just down by herself. She may have come out, but she had the tail suck. When we were checking her follicles today, she had the tail suck, and I'm just wondering if I lift up her tail, see whether she's still got the tail suck, because I'm just wondering whether she's still got it. Can you see the tail suck there, Jared? I can see tail suck. You see that groove going all the way up there? Yeah. That's tail suck. And she's got all around here. She swelled up over the weekend, but she's still got the ridging. And when we handled her, she's got 40 mil plus follicles, but her body was very firm and very hard, so it's almost as though the ovulation could be felt. So there's another, you said that, didn't you, Jared, when we were checking her follicles? She was very hard. So that's wonderful. So that's 3 girls that have got to the ovulation stage, and we're not even, where are we now? We're just 22nd of Feb. So we've never had that before, have we, Jared? So that's super exciting. And that will go along. So the 3 girls that have ovulated is Suzuki, and she's going to hopefully produce us some vanilla clown combos. Mayu is going to hopefully produce us some pastel cine pieds that are 100% het for lavender, albino. And Shadow, who's a super cine girl, she is going to hopefully produce us some cine pieds that are 100% het for lavender, albino. So we've got some really wonderful projects coming our way, and we'll make those available to any friends or people out there that would like to get into the project. I think we're going to hopefully have some beautiful babies coming our way soon, so do hit us up on Instagram if you're interested in getting involved with the project. Now, besides those 3 girls, they're all over 40 mil, some of them as high as 45 mil. We've got 4 other girls that have gone over 40 mils, and the first one, Jared, is Isa, and she is our Desert Ghost enchi girl, and she's coming in at 41mm follicles, and she just shed out today. So let's have a quick look at her. You can see how big she is. She's going to give us an ovulation soon, I believe. And there she is. She's so laid back. Now we're hoping to produce. So we put Hercules to her, and Hercules is a clown, a multi-combo clown. But one thing I remember from when we did the original project, Jared, was we got this particular snake from a breeder that has a reputation for having kryptons or cryptic in the collection in their Desert Ghosts. Now, cryptic is allelic, which means it sits on the same allele with clown. If she's carrying cryptic, Jared, do you know what we could hit if Hercules does the business?
Kryptons.
Kryptons, but you can also, because they are allelic, and if she is carrying cryptic, and we put that to a clown, you can produce either a visual clown or visual cryptics if you put them together. I think it's, or is it kryptons? I can't remember the terminology, but all I know is that if she's carrying a hidden gene that we weren't aware of, we could end up with some clowns that are 100% het for DG that have enchi in there, and that could be really interesting. So when that clutch comes, Jared, if you do see a clown, don't be surprised, because she might be carrying that secret gene. So I think that's a really interesting project that I can't wait to see what she's going to produce for us, and that'll be lovely. And he's carrying pastel, leopard, enchi. Can you imagine the quality of the offspring that we could get out of that? It could be just something which could take us away, and we get a visual clown version. It could be amazing. So there's Isa. The other ones that we've got are Mango, which is one of your favourite girls that gave us a beautiful clutch last year. She is at 43mm follicles, so she's going to either ovulate very soon, Jared, because I do think that they ovulate around there, but look how big she is. She's carrying quite a few eggs as well, isn't she? So she could give us a big clutch this year, Jared. And you can see they've moved away from the cold spots now. They're all nesting up on the heat spots, and they're going almost into the point where I think they might be ovulating very soon. So they've done the cooling and building. They've not eaten for several weeks now. So this is where the exciting part of the hobby gets for me. I think this is where I get excited. Do you, Jared? Mm-hmm. The other ones that have gone over 40 is Tess. Now she's our Batman project. She's still building. I mean, I can't believe she's still building, because she's 42mm, but she is massive. And you check the follicles, Jared, and she's carrying big eggs in there, so big follicles. So she's in the 40s, and the other one below her is also Bubbles is in the 40s as well. So this is the other one we've got, and she was carrying really big eggs. And have a quick look at her. So Bubbles is the enchi lesser clown girl, first time mum.
I actually think she's starting to go into ovulation.
Do you think she might be ovulating? Why do you think that?
See, just here, do you see the size difference between right there and there?
Yeah.
And that bulge underneath?
She got a ridge as well. And what's her tail suck like?
She's starting.
She's got tail suck.
Yeah.
So this could be the beginning of her ovulation. So she's certainly got the big enough follicles for
and
it.
she can't close her body, so she's hard.
Yeah.
See these lines here? I mean,
Right.
she can't.
Is it a lot harder? Is she hard? Are the eggs? Oh yeah, that feels quite firm. So that may well be our 4th ovulation. So you're getting this live, guys. I mean, we don't know exactly whether it is happening, but Jared's a better.
It looks like the start of an ovulation to me.
So I think Jared, who's got more experience than I have, I trust his judgment a lot. So thank you, Jared. That could be 4th ovulation even, but we'll see. It's all happening. And there was one other which I think has got the biggest follicles out of all the girls, which is Electra, and she's like 46 millimeters, Jared. And she is also carrying quite a few eggs. I think we counted at least 7 eggs. So let's have a quick look at Electra. Now, I'm not sure, I won't disturb her, she's under there, but I mean, she's absolutely huge, isn't she, Jared? She's a super grabble girl.
I'll just lift it a little bit.
Do you want to lift the lid and have a little look? I mean, she is big, Jared. And she's very pretty, and she's glowing as well. I said to you, I've never seen her glow so well for a while. And they say that they glow before they go, is the saying. So I think any of these girls that look good are really quite fascinating to me. I love to see what's going on here. So there's a lot going on in the lab. Now, on top of that, if that wasn't good enough, so that's 7 girls, of which 3 or 4 could have ovulated. 3 are ready to ovulate almost. We've got 10 girls coming up the ranks that are over 30 as well. 10. So those ones would include your girl Mo, Karamak. We'll get Karamak out because she is looking big, Jared. Can you get a view of her? Just look at the size of her. And she's ridging up as well. It wouldn't surprise me that she won't take long before she goes. Give her a month, Jared. I think next month we could get an ovulation from her. But again, notice she's on the hot spot. So they've done their building, they're cooling, and they're starting to move on to the warm spots now. I won't go through them all, I'll just pick out the ones that I think are of interest. Calypso, your girl, Zag. Zag went from 16 to 35. Now, she's our possible Exantic. She might be carrying Exantic besides Ultramel, but she's a beautiful bamboo girl.
She'll be het.
But she'll be het, won't she, for both? Hopefully she's het for Exantic. We've got to try and prove her out, but we've put her... God, look at that. She's building as though she's almost like with a tail in the middle and build.
The tail's on the outside.
On the tail's on the outside. When the tail's on the inside and they start coiling, that's really delay.
Yeah.
But I don't think she'll be long before she gives us a clutch, Jared. And then we could end up with visual ultramels that are Exantic ultramels, which could also be bamboo or Mojave, or both. So that's going to be a really interesting one. We'll keep you posted on that one, but that's another exciting one. The other one that's exciting is your girl, Jared, Calypso. And Calypso is a beautiful pastel clown girl. She's in, I think she's got 35mm follicles, Jared. But just look how good she's going. Look how big she is. So she'll give us an ovulation soon, and the Dreamsicle boy went to her. She's 100% het for pied, so we're trying to prove out some pieds, 100% het clown, and also 100% pied. Oh no, visual pieds, 100% clown, and 100% lavender albino. So almost like a building block to that beautiful project, which is the Holy Grail. So we are tempted, if we can get our boy going, who's a double visual, clown pied banana leopard boy. We've put him in here, and I tried to breed with him again, but you can see Linnea, who's a visual clown, she shed out, and I think last week when we put them together she was in shed, so I thought I'd try them out of shed.
They're both pretty new.
They're all pretty new, they're learning. She's got 10mm follicles. But did you know that the boy was actually on top of her, not locked, but showing dominance? So it might get him going. So we're going to stay with this project and see whether we can get him to lock. But that could be exciting, and if he comes into his own breeding and feeding, we'll start to use him on still some of the clutches, or maybe not still them, white jaw sour for some of these clutches. And it might be that if he does start locking, we put him into Calypso, who's almost ready to go. Half the clutch could actually be clown pied, Jared, and half could be the Dreamsicle project that we're doing with them. So that's an interesting technique of going. The other one that's in the 30mm area is Calypso. Now Calypso doesn't look big enough to give Calissa, sorry. She doesn't look big enough to give us a clutch, Jared. But she had like 37mm follicles.
It's the first time she's been out of her bowl for a while.
She's been in her bowl for such a long time, but look at her. Again, she's got quite a bulge there. And she's got the tail suck. Now, because she's going to give us a small clutch probably as a first time mum, it might well be that she will go into an ovulation at 36mm, Jared. because you don't have to go past the 40s to have to ovulate. Depends on the size of the girl, but you know, something's going on there, Jared. And she's now moved on to the hot spot, which is fascinating because it could well be that she's ready to actually go towards her ovulation. So I think we're going to have quite a few ovulations coming our way over the next 4 weeks, and we'll keep you posted with those. So besides having 10 girls that are in the 30 mil plus range, we've also got 2 girls that are going to give us a record number of eggs. So the beautiful thing about having the ultrasound is you can see how many eggs are in there. And I will show you one of the pictures of one of the ultrasounds to show you. Jared, your girl Toast, how many eggs does she have in there?
I think we counted 19 or 20.
Close to 20, I think it's 20, Jared, but let's have a look at her. She's on the hot spot. Big girl. Regular eggs from her, Jared. We've had three clutches in 3 years out of her, haven't we? This is her 4th year, and she's now getting to the point where she's produced 20 follicles. Now, if I can find that picture, this is what I think I'm learning, Jared. And again, I'm just new to this, so obviously, please, if you feel, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is what I think's going on. I believe that every female has 2 sets of ovaries, okay, and 2 oviducts, which is the area where the eggs pass the tubes. When the ovaries, when they produce the follicles, they drop into those 2 channels. Now, people who are breeding, obviously, when Mango bred 2 or 3 years ago, she looked big enough to go, and she was building follicles of over 20 mil, and we thought that she would give us a clutch. And it turned out that she started to what they call reabsorb her follicles. So what happens is if a girl doesn't think she wants to go, she will consume her own eggs, effectively her own follicles, and they call it reabsorption. And they take the strength of those follicles back into their body to sustain them ready for the next season. So there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, it's frustrating for us breeders when we want our projects to come to pass, but it's called reabsorption. So I remember from one of Rob's videos, which I think a year or so ago, and I think Robert Roy Balls was teaching about the principle of reabsorption, and what he was saying, I believe from memory, I'm quoting from memory, he was saying that it's possible for a girl to reabsorb some of the follicles in one of the oviducts to then reinvest that strength into the other side of the oviduct, which will have the other eggs. And he said don't write off a girl if they start reabsorbing, because they may reabsorb just one side and then they might start building the other side with that strength. So the ultrasound, I think, has actually confirmed this, because Jared, when you did the follicle check, shall I see if I can find her cluster? There's a cluster of eggs, and you see 7 eggs in the video. I'll see if I can find it. But we found that one side had small follicles and the other side had big follicles. So I think what we're witnessing is a reabsorption of half of the 10 eggs. She's got 20 eggs in her. So I believe that half of her follicles are being reabsorbed.
Yes.
Have you got it there, Joe? So just show the video on that.
You can see eggs at the top, eggs at the bottom, so those are the 2 ducts. And there's 7 eggs there.
7 eggs, literally, and we've never seen 7 eggs in one. We see maybe 3 normally, don't we? She's got an absolute cluster, and what we did this time is we went through the whole of her body and counted, I think it was 20 we counted.
Yeah.
She was moving at the time as well, wasn't she, Jared? But we were very amazing. I just can't believe there's 20. We know that Colossus has got 14, and she's grown her follicles as well, Jared. So I think that to me was really interesting. If anyone's had any experience with reabsorption or understands the science behind it all, please do make a comment in the video below, share your information with us. And it's good because I think new breeders coming in that may not have seen this could be quite appreciative of that extra information. So I think we've covered that, we've covered the smaller eggs, we've covered that. I'll just show you the good news is we've had another lock. Thor has come out of shed. I put him to Lala. Lala is now at 31 follicles. And I'll just show you their lock, and I'll just show you a few follicle pictures as well. So there's a lock. So this is Lala. Lala is a super pastel 100% het for pied, and we put the Exantic VPI pied boy Thor to her. So we're hoping to produce some visual pieds 100% het for VPI Exantic, but hopefully there'll be pastels as well. So he's proven to be such a reliable breeder. Everything we put him to, he's locking to, which is wonderful. And then I've got a picture of the ovulation I caught over the weekend, where you can see Suzuki's tail suck, and you can see her bulging. Yeah. And what we've done is we have also rested our boys, so there's no other breeding going on. We're going to rest our boys for a week or two. So another tactic is not to breed every week, but give the boys a chance to rest. We found that with Thor. He went through a week where he rested. He was in shed, so he hadn't bred for 2 weeks. Put him in straight away, lock, bang. And you know that he's had a chance to rebuild his sperm count and get strength. So the other thing is not to breed every week, to rest your males and give them time to get their strength back. And then the final thing is I'm going to go through very quickly the follicle tests that we did. There's Mango at 41 millimeters. There is Tess at 40 millimeters. You can see that they go off the screen. You can't measure them. We've had to put the points where we think they're ending. When they get to that point, you're close to ovulation, Jared. Then this one, I think we've got, who's that? Is that Bubbles at 37.4? You can see her follicles. And then we've got Isa at 42. She's the Desert Ghost girl that might be carrying cryptic as well. Went to a clown boy. So she's building lovely. And we've got Mo, which is your girl, Jared. She's at 34. Calypso's at 38, so she's almost at 40, Jared. She could give us an ovulation very soon. That's the pastel clown het pied girl. This is Karamak, my beautiful ultra male girl. She's at 31, so she's moving up there. This is Kalissa, that's at, oh, she's at 31, Chad. Not as high as I thought.
Yeah.
But she might give us an ovulation at a small size eggs, which is fine. And then we've got Starburst, it's nearly at 30 mil, which is our Mojave ultra male girl. So that was pleasing. Then we've got Lala at 31. That's the Xantic VPI project. We're putting to her as a pied. That one is Pringle. She hasn't grown very much at all, 4 millimeters. She's our F&F line Calico. So I was a little bit disappointed with that one. They're not all, not everything's good news. This one is NASA. She's 21 mil. She's our Bongo possible clown girl. So she's building nicely. Then you've got Fern. She's only at 13 mils. She's our fire het clown girl. You've got Atlas at 14.5. She's our cinnamon pied girl. She's big body weight, but her follicles are small. Surprised me a little bit. This one is Phoebe. She's at 18 mil. This one is Toast. Now 19 eggs you put on there, Jared.
19, yeah.
She's only 14 mil follicles, but 19 eggs. That is ridiculous. This one is can't read that. Moneypenny. She's at 22 mil. She's a double het orange ghost pied girl. And this one is Venus at 28.8. She's our spot nose cine pastel girl. This one is Celeste. She is 25 mil. She's our Bell project. Costa 12.4. She's a Mocha Bell project that's got ultramelon. This one is Pistachio, an enchi clown girl at 13.7, building nicely. Trying to get the gravel clown into the enchi project. This one here is Ember, a new girl coming in at 11. She's only 2.5 years old, but we just thought we'd check on her. She's a DG, het DG girl.
30 seconds.
And just Hazel, 18 mil. But you can see we've got, oh yeah, we won't go through them all, but you can see we've had a massive session. Thank you for your love and support. Thank you, Jared, for helping out today. Have a great week, everyone. We'll see you next Monday. Take care. Bye-bye for now.